Hi, sunshine. So we went to Celestun. So this whole thing is Mexico, and this is the Yucatan Peninsula. This is where we usually fly into, Cancun. Merida is somewhere right there, and that red dot is Celestun. The coast looks something like this, with a little thingy like that, and then a bigger one like this that probably goes farther than that, and then back this way. Now the only road that takes you through Celestun, it's somewhere right here.
The bus went down this road and then dropped us off in a plaza 2 blocks away from the beach.
So we went with 2 of our friends, and we did not book a tour ahead. That's just not what we do. So we hit it out on the bus, and when we got to the plaza, a gentleman approached us telling us of some packages that we could do, but he also said that we could just walk down to the beach and see for ourselves. I felt more comfortable with that. I think it was a unanimous decision, so that's what we did. When we got to the beach, the gentleman was there, and he kind of explained to us that all the boats work as a coalition, and because it's a natural preserve, so they all work together for the area. So we walked from the plaza to the beach, and then we took the boat from here to get gas, and then all the way over here past another little thingy and to see the flamingos. Now when we went around, we did see a second dock, which you could also take off from if you don't want to do the long trip. It takes you just from the dock to the flamingos, and you don't have to go around the whole peninsula. Although that trip was truly beautiful, and I truly recommend it.
So the ones on the right are the ones that are ducks that dive.
So I think we just made a pit stop for gas, and then we're gonna keep going soon.
shrimp.
Está vivo, mire cómo se mueve.
They're baby shrimp. Son,
wow.
son los bebés
De los camarones.
de los camarones.
Sí, es por eso, mientras más lo coman, el color es más fuerte.
So when we got to the flamingos, I asked a gazillion questions. It was so amazing. There was so much I wanted to know. And then after the flamingos, he took us to a watering hole. That was also a very cool experience, and the kids had a lot of fun going in it. But we were only allowed to be there for like a few minutes. It was like 30 minutes max, I think.
Es el Canal de Manglares.
So we hopped back on, and I had previously asked about some Charcas Rosas in the area that I had heard of, and he said that he could combine it with our current tour. As part of that tour, he took us to a second cenote in the area. The cenote was a lot smaller, but there were no people, so I jumped in. And I wasn't too pleasantly surprised with the experience because it was really shallow. And I landed on a bed of seagrass, which made me think that I was destroying the ecosystem, so I was not too thrilled about that. Then we headed to the Charcas, and on the way there, the engine started giving us problems. So he decided to call for backup, and he dropped us off near the second dock that we saw, and 2 moto-taxis came to pick us up, and they decided to give us a tour. Now this turned out great because we got to see not only the ocean, but we got to see the land, which took us through some of the back of the house, so to speak. So las Charcas Rosas translates to pink puddles, and these are really shallow bodies of water located in the region. They use these bodies of water to cultivate pink salt. Now, the hotter it gets, the more water evaporates and more of that pink you'll be able to see. But this region got some really heavy rainfall last year, and they have not been able to recuperate from that, and therefore have not been able to harvest in the past. This is their second harvest that they're missing because of last year's rainfall. As you can see, the large bodies of water don't appear very pink, and that's because the water is still quite deep. The gentlemen that took us around will also be the ones partaking in the harvesting. As part of the local economy, they were telling me that they do a little bit of everything. They're like seasonal jobs. So when it's time to harvest salt, they'll do that. When tourist season comes around, they'll do that. They also are fishermen as well. When they harvest the salt, they said that the water gets so hot that they have to wear protective equipment to be able to pick up the salt, and they literally just scoop the salt with their hands and pour it in a container. Because this Charcas were not very pink, he did take us to another region that the water looked a lot more pink. Now the other region was not used for harvesting salt, but you can see the mineral that makes the salt pink more clearly, so that was really cool to watch. And then the last place we stopped at in this tour was a ruin of a building that they used to use to ship out the salt. So they would take the salt to this building, and the building would have some sort of conveyor belt device that would take it from the building to a ship. That's why the building is located at a pier. Nowadays, they don't use ships anymore. They actually use trucks. So that's why this building was left abandoned. When we were driving back to city center, we passed by this thing that had like hanging meat from it, so I was really curious, and the gentleman stopped and gave me the whole spiel. They were drying out bacalao, which in Mexico is shark, and they salt it really thick and they just put it out there to dry. And then later on we ran into a fisherman and I asked what it was, and he stopped to get me one. They had caracol, and my daughter got to see the caracol still alive. And when we got to the restaurant, we put it back in the water.
The meat. Oh wow.
Es el charco. Nos quedan más pequeños.
And then after our tour was over, they dropped us off at a cute little restaurant on the beach where we had some delicious and very affordable food, and then we walked over to the pier to watch the sunset. Perfect ending for a perfect day.
If you have any questions about any of the things I mentioned, don't hesitate to ask in the comments, and don't forget to like and follow if you want to see more of our adventures and all the things we learn along the way. Thanks for joining. Bye!